to show you guys real time the strength of this. Got my co-host here, Tools with Souls. What's going on?
Nothing. I am Captain America. If America were a big giant burger and needed a fat man to represent it, I'm there.
Let me ask you, does that make noise when I do that? No? Okay.
Not for me. Blow on it. Well, I heard that.
Okay. All right. I guess it turns active once YouTube goes live. What a strange thing. All right, this is what we got. So, got a 4-square box here. I'm going to bring you guys down here a little bit closer. Doing this. Put you right here with me. Hold saw, 1/2 inch, 7/8 diameter. This is how I always measured for my holes. I would do a square. By the time you drilled it, that'd be your margins. If you had 1 5/8 strut, you'd measure accordingly. I can show you guys how to measure all that, get perfect spacing on all your conduits. But for now, we're just going to we're going to drill this right now, but we're going to do something different. We're going to do something unexpected.
Thanks, Rodney.
We're going to take an impact. We're going to take one of the most powerful impacts here. If we want to, or we can take a... Let's take this. And I'm just going to hold on to this here with my hand. Which, do not do this unless you're using an impact, by the way. This is to show you what you can do with an impact driver. And we're just going to go straight through. Now, a lot of people say that you should be doing this with a drill. But I'm going to show you why I use an impact. So, here we go. We're already through. Now, if you do this with a drill, this can happen. And the thing about this is that it's not evenly spaced, and this can really jack you up. See this wood here? Nothing happens because it's an impact driver. But if you do that with a drill, you better believe there'd be blood everywhere.
Or you could just go low and slow with the drill and
you could go
not have any of these. You would not have any of these issues.
We'll go ahead and do something a little bit more extreme. We'll get a unibit here. This is the Irwin unibit. I always kept this in my tool pouch. I ran a whole bunch of slick rod, which is rod that you thread yourself in industrial situations where
I agree with you, Paul.
Area, and you can't have threads all the way down. So you got to measure where you want your threads to be. And that's where they're at. You put that literally on a threader. You're threading your own holes, and it is what it is. If you mess up, you're redoing it. This is good for 1/4 inch common steel on angle iron. And this is a really good drill bit. Going to require a little bit more torque.
What's up, Shaka Gillis? Glad to see you back with us.
One thing about these is because it's constantly slipping, I can actually grab this and hold it in my hand like this. Where is it?
Don't do that.
I can. It's not hot.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
If you do that with a drill, you have to go low and you have to go slow. Now, what happens if you do it with a drill that doesn't have enough torque is very dangerous. I'm going to show you why. We take a drill here. I'm going to go ahead and put it in a bind here. See? You see that? You see how that works? Hang on. Ow! Okay. Right here. We're going to see what happens.
All right.
You see that? Moves the whole piece of wood?
Yes.
That's why I use an impact.
I hate to tell you
the back end of that actually caught my hand on this portion here.
Yeah.
where the impact just slips. To do this, you would have to have a vise, a material cart. You'd have to take your 4-square, screw it to your material cart, get your drill.
B-Dub, I meant to tell you, I think I have an extra mic around. I wanted to send to you. Send me your address. I'll send you one.
You would need to.
Yeah.
You need to secure this. So we're going to do that for safety.
So I'm just going to tell you now. I'm just going to tell you now, just for the fun of it. But the bits that you're using,
yeah,
they don't want to be used with an impact driver.
Hey, I hate to tell you.
Yeah, you can do it, but you don't want to do it with an impact driver.
They last long enough for it not to matter. You can be on a ladder. You can do all kinds of stuff with those bits with an impact. This is what happens if you use this with a drill. This board is probably going to spin here, but I'm not at risk to.
What's up, buds?
Be in trouble. So we're going to go ahead and drill this. Now, a lot of people are going to tell you want to go low and slow, which would be speed 2 here. Would be the speed for high speed. And then low would be speed 1. But this is where I disagree. I think you're better off leaving it in speed 2 and using a very powerful drill. If you don't use a powerful drill, you can't use speed 2. Speed 2 is essential because you do not destroy yourself if this thing gets in a bind. You've seen us drive 5/8-inch diameter lags with these drills. You will be in a world of trouble if you get something in a bind and you are in speed 1. Does that make sense? Too much torque is not good. It doesn't require that much torque. You need to be able to throttle this, lift up and down, spin it faster to get it to slip, just in case it's in a bind. I recommend speed 2 when drilling steel, especially this thin. And you're going to go about this speed here. And I'm pushing pretty much all my body weight down on this table.
What's up, Juan?
And you can kind of hear where it's like, whir, whir, whir. That's where it's getting a little bit in a bind. I'm giving you a little bit more throttle. And I'm still good to touch this. It's not hot.
Right.
So that's how you drill steel. What I recommend you do, get you a self-tapper here and start your pilot hole. So if we were to use, we'll use our impact here. Start your pilot hole right here in the center. Where we got this marked out. Back it out. Stuck. Now, there's a couple of ways you can drill this out, right? You can use just this. You can do the washer trick. Everyone knows the washer trick. I think I'll show you the washer trick right now.
Yeah.
But I'm going to show you something that I always did.
That is exactly what he said, yeah. That is exactly what he said.
This is the washer trick. I've already done a pilot hole. Most of my work is done. I'm going to go as fast as I want. You ready? And I'm not going to break my bit.
Put it in your left hand.
And it just flips the whole time. Spins on the washer. Hole saw doesn't get in a bind. I can go as fast as I want all day.
What's up, Rod?
We'll actually cut a hole through the washer before we get in trouble. Not great for the bit, but just to show you guys. And then you can finish up your cut. Heavy pressure here. My weight's all the way down here. My shoulders.
Oh my God. Okay.
See where it's in a bind there? And I had to give it a little bit more throttle. If this was in speed 1, it would probably be a 2x4. That's why I recommend speed 2.
Wow.
There you go.
Interesting.
If you don't want to do that, you can use one of these. This has the cup here so it doesn't drop inside your panel. So you're not completely screwed. You don't make contact with energized sources in case you're doing something where you've got a helper holding a cardboard box underneath. We've all been there. Don't pretend like you've never done it. And this is a smaller pilot tip, maybe like a 3/16. Requires even less.
Oh, Mr. Walt, I want to say a lot, but I'm going to let it go.
We're going to first way down here. We're already in. I actually like that it slips because it doesn't really give it a chance to heat up.
What's up, Stephen B?
I can hold this here and probably do a whole saw. If this thing wasn't so freaking sharp, we'll go ahead and ream it out. That way I want to hold it. And yeah, you should wear gloves with this, but whatever.
Yeah, Mad Monk. That's exactly what I'm doing.
Okay.
Gavin, sorry, we've been busy.
I'm kind of worried about it.
All I'm saying is I can use a drill to go through this much material and not have to worry about it. With a step bit. With a step bit.
Yeah. Of course you can.
And my step bit will still be sharp at the end.
This is still sharp.
And I'm not going to build up any heat through my tool by forcing all of my body weight on it.
That's old school, dude. I've done more than 75 cuts through stainless steel with the same bit. Now it was a Lennox with a black oxide tip, but these are going to be lasting longer than you think. I can even drill this while I'm holding this in my hand, which would usually be a death sentence.
I will, Gavin.
No worries. You can go that much slower and take your time and not burn up your bit.
I do.
We're doing a live here, so there's no time to waste.
I do want.
If you want to get this slug out, there's a couple of ways you can do it. You can loosen this Allen wrench. You can pop that out. You can get your flathead behind there. I usually take the Allen wrench and I pop it out. But there's another way you can do this. It involves a self-tapper.
All right, who farted?
It involves a self-tapper and an impact. You don't want
a self-tapper or a self-driller?
Self-tapping screw. I'm going to use the impact for safety because the impact's just...
Can I see the end of that screw?
The end of this screw?
Yeah.
Self-tapping?
Self-drilling.
Self-whatever.
Yeah.
We call them self-tappers.
I know.
I'm just going to hold this right here. Don't do any of this at home.
No.
Like none of it. Don't do any of this at home.
I agree.
So that could happen. I found another drill. Drill it. Try again.
Well, I'm trying to be nice.
You sound scared.
Oh no, you're doing just fine on your own. There's no explanation needed from me.
We're in.
God damn. It's hurt my soul a little bit, I want you to know.
Nah, we'll be fine. You see how thick the steel is?
Yeah.
There you go.
Richard, yeah.
What
we don't disagree very often, but
because I'd be doing like probably maybe 30 cuts back to back to back to back. You want to use a knockout set, obviously, but you got to start with a 7/8 hole because most of your knockout sets have a 7/8 half-inch slug, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. So you got to start with a 7/8 hole. You think you're just going to cut out a hole, but if you're professional, use a knockout set. So you're going to start with. Let's just say it's a 2-inch connector or whatever it is. You're going to map that out. You're going to get the center of it. You're going to knock out your hole in the middle of your knockout. You got a half-inch hole in the middle. And then the knockout set has 4 points on either side of it that you line up with your crosses. And then you knock out accordingly. So you don't always just use hole saws, especially in Nobody ever told this guy, don't quit your day job. Too late, dude.
He didn't quit his day job. You're doing just fine. Keep explaining away.
No, I'm not worried about it. I know what you're doing. It's fine.
Yeah, you're good.
All right, tie wire trick. Well, I was going to say one more thing. This is what I check. So you don't have to worry about doing the washer trick. You don't have to do any of that if you just have a 1/4 inch bit here, because your hole saw is 1/4 inch. So you just continuously make your holes, then go back and drill them all, then go back and use your knockout set.
I agree with you.
Let me move this over here.
I'm with you so far.
I'm gonna go over here. Okay, now above me, we've got this thing here. It's got a hole here, so if I could reach it, I could pull myself out. Hang on.
Sure. Take your time.
So we can hang on this, right?
Right. Yeah.
We're gonna see. We're gonna see how strong the tie wire is.
Just a little bit.
Now I'm gonna show you the tie wire trick.
He's an electrician.
I don't have duct tape. I got Gorilla Tape. Once I discovered this stuff, I stopped buying duct tape pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna start
this
with
is a
one
good
wrap.
tip. I agree with you on this one, 100%. Hi, baby.
Just one wrap like this. Then you're gonna cut out.
Come here.
The holding ties.
Lexi, come here. Come here, baby.
That's one.
I got a star.
That's two.
I have my star with me.
Now we're gonna wrap it up. You're going around
Good
it.
Baby.
We're gonna go over and then back down.
I can't do the close up of the dog. This is a good trick, by the way. This is a great trick.
Okay. This is pretty much how you start tie wire roll. Okay.
Go on, baby. Go.
We're going to give it a cut.
Yes, I love you too. Now you go.
Now, a lot of people will double this up like this, right? Like this. And then they're going to tie it on it. Now, I don't know if this will hold me. I've never actually tried. But I figured why not do it? We can find out together. One
go.
might be. Well, let's just see. Ready?
Yeah. If he falls, we all laugh.
It does hold me.
Yeah.
We need one. I need something good and break it. Okay.
Yeah. My soul died a little bit. My soul died a little bit watching him do that one demo.
We will switch gears. Hang on.
You guys know it's coming. I'm not even going to hide it.
This breaks anyway when you tie this around 3-inch pipe.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, that'll work.
And this is just some flimsy corrugated that I have laying around my house.
Okay, so when you go to tighten this, you get a break, right?
What's that?
When you go to tighten this is where it breaks every time.
Uh-huh.
When you're really trying to suck up, imagine 300 pounds of pipe that you're trying to bind all together in a ditch. So you use your foot here, and you're pulling really hard, and you give it one twist like this. I caught it.
I'm just saying, I'm just over here doing what you said should be done.
Never underestimate the leverage that I put on things.
Oh, yeah.
Were you ever questioning the leverage, sir?
Sure.
Hang on.
Now I'm getting through this. You guys saw it. I have one bind up. I didn't have any jerking. I didn't put any freaking pressure down on my drill. That's just fine. I don't know what they're talking about. But,
Okay. All right, I gotta say. So you put your foot here. Oh my goodness.
no.
As soon as you twist this, right, it's gonna break pretty much. You got it fairly tight here.
Uh-huh.
Like that. This little twist here will usually snap it. Let's see.
Flex it too much. Yeah.
Pretty easy to break.
Unfortunately, it's flexing too much. It won't let me get a good bite.
And if you double up your tie wire, which got launched, if you double up your tie wire, it's only as strong as the other strand. Because one strand breaks and they all break. So this is
Have I
something
tried
that
the
we used to
Hercules?
do in the field.
I know.
Where you take this end of your tie wire here. We usually do this for about 100 feet.
Yeah, Juan, I think
minimum.
you did. Yeah.
You want to twist it just a little bit, not a whole bunch, just enough to kind of get in a little bind here, like that.
Well, I didn't know I was going to be doing this, or I'd have had at least some eye protection on.
Okay.
Oh, no, I am not using. No. This is a good tip.
Like that.
Yeah.
And you get your helper. Get it nice and even like this here. Get your helper to hold this side. Now what we're going to do, we're going to do this a little bit questionable. We're going to wrap this around here so there's no choice but to hold it for us. And we're going to use gravity. We're going to throw it over the weight of this like this. And we're going to give it a twist.
We can't see it.
I know. You see that?
Yes.
Kind of hard to see. You have to wait until we get done there. We just braided this.
Uh-huh.
This is, I don't even have a number for you, man. It's very strong.
Yeah.
You can take this, especially if you do like 3 of them. You can take this and you can wrap 4-inch with it. I had a situation where I came off of this job that I was pretty much the scapegoat on. they'd already fired everyone that was in charge of the job. And then they were trying to pin something on me because I wouldn't snitch on somebody.
Somebody snitched on me.
As soon as I got to the job, they said, "We're doing underground. You're digging."
Nice.
Okay. What are we doing? They said, "Well, we missed with 16 4-inch pipes. And they're kind of looking like the Game of Thrones out here, going like this. We need to get them perfectly in a box." And they said, "We're going to give you about 2 weeks to dig it up." And I got all my help that I had. I had 2 guys to help me. I had them running, going, getting strut and tie wire and all kinds of stuff. They came back to check on me, driving on their mule, and they said, they ain't started breaking ground yet. Looks like you're going to be in trouble. I love digging. Yeah. I love digging. But what I ended up doing was taking this trick here. We did it about 4 times. And we started wrapping it around the whole bundle that was all going all crazy.
Yeah.
And we started really sucking it all together, all the pieces of pipe, because it wasn't going on the rack. It was going underneath the transformer. So there's really no problem if the pipes are almost touching each other inside that transformer.
Yeah.
And then I went and we got fixed strut. And we went to the plumbers and we got 3/4 hardware. We started drilling out the fixed strut just a little bit wider. We did the 3/4 hardware in there. And we just made like a giant strut sandwich and sucked all this pipe together. And then I went to the Connex and I said, "Where's that template?" Because I had a little template made out of pallet wood that was supposed to be for the square to fit over these pipes. Yeah. And they were mad I was asking for it. So I grabbed it and they started following me. And I placed it right over that pipe run that was supposed to take me 2 weeks to dig up and restructure. And so what else you guys got? It's a think smarter, don't work as hard kind of situation.
Yeah, it's true. My only regret is that I don't have a small enough piece of steel, because this is too big. It flexes too much. It won't allow me to cut through this. But your audience watched me go on this for about, I don't know, a couple of minutes already. I am through it, by the way.
What are you drilling there?
This is just corrugated steel. This just happens to be something that I have that is thinner than what you're using, or as thin as what you're using.
Probably not. This is 3/16.
Dude, if this is, I mean, look, just get a good look. This is nothing in here.
Right.
I doubt it's even 3 mil. But they watch me go through that without applying pressure to the drill, without having it bind up, without having any trouble at all. I should have used oil, but I didn't. They watched me do it, and it truly was absolutely nothing. I didn't need an impact driver, and I was able to touch the end, as I was just doing it, the end of the hole saw, because I'm doing it with the proper technique.
Right.
Wobble the drill a little bit so that it bites on all sides, because it's natural tendency to have it bite on one, which is when you only do that, that's when you get that kick, because you don't have it even. So when you do it the right way and you're using the right technique, the drill is the tool that you would use.
So what
it
you're
will
telling
last
me, you
longer.
did that the whole time and already knocked out 4 or 5 holes. Done.
Well, yeah, but what you're missing is you've got a very small piece of non-flex. I'm using a piece that flexes, that is oversized, and I'm actually going on a bow. I'm putting myself in the worst possible position for so this to recreate. But to recreate exactly what you said the drill would do, if it catches, I went through the absolute worst part of it, but because I used the proper technique, I was never going to have any worries. And they watched. I was not putting any pressure down.
When you're in the field, you can't use the proper technique all the time. Sometimes the box is already mounted. You're in weird situations where you got to knock out holes in existing boxes.
If that box is mounted, I'm good.
Usually the box is like already on the wall. You got to do different things. This is an option. If these things get stuck in a bind, you're gonna rip whatever's on the wall off the wall.
The only reason you're getting in a bind
situation where you can paint the perfect whatever.
No, but I literally had it in the worst possible way. Bowed. I had it bowed.
Yeah,
draped over
it's
something,
big,
and yeah, it's
leverage,
big.
It can't spin.
Yeah, I
Do
wasn't using any leverage. I wasn't using any leverage. I wasn't putting any pressure down because I could use the proper technique.
There is no proper technique
always
on a ladder,
wins.
bro. There is no proper technique. You had all your weight on it. This thing isn't gonna move.
Really? I had all my weight on it. That's a lie.
This in your hand.
I had none in my hand. I had none.
We'll talk. That's the whole thing. Hold this in your hand.
I'll get one. I'll get one just to prove to you that you don't use an impact driver. Well, you wouldn't be open to it anyway because you think that the impact driver is the end all and be all. But the impact driver is less efficient.
Anyway, it's just dangerous. There's no worries holding this in your hand. I've already showed you. You can take an impact. You're missing the whole point, man. Look, you can take an impact and a drill. I can sit here and hold this. There. You can't do that with a drill, dude. You can't. You can't do it. It can't be done. You would be in so much trouble, dude, if this thing got in a bind. I can sit here and I can do this, and there's no weight on this drill. The drill bit's not even hot. I can hold it by the drill bit. There's no wear and tear on this. If there is, it's minimal compared to how many times you can do this and get away with it. And you're that much safer. If this isn't a drill, it does this.
Really?
And that's really dangerous.
You're sure about that?
I would not try it with a drill. I won't try it. I'll tell you that, dude. I like my fingers.
Yep. I like using I like using the proper tool for the job.
In certain situations, this is a proper tool for the job. Sometimes you don't have the luxury of having a vise. All you got is a material cart, and you've got to knock a hole in a box. Let's say you're doing an office job, and you got to run a piece of flex out of a 4-square cover to whatever you're going to run it to, a furniture whip, whatever it is. You usually get a hole in the middle of this, and you don't have a vise. You don't have anything you can screw it to. You guys know how dangerous it is to use a hole saw on something like this.
You're right.
Put the cover in advance.
The only problem I'm going to have is the drill bit wandering.
I hope that doesn't slip, bro.
Look, I'm going slow too. I don't have to go fast.
Mine's already done.
Yes, sir. You're right. You're gonna be right even when you're wrong because you're gonna tell somebody something. You're gonna tell somebody something, and they're gonna go out there and do it. They're gonna fuck up their bits. They're gonna be using the wrong tool.
Fuck up, dude. You're talking about 10 years experience in the same company. There's no fucking up the bits. It's another method that you can do in a pinch, and you can't argue with it. I just
wait. Did you just say in a pinch? Because that's not what you made it sound like. You made it actually sound like
electrical isn't a pinch the whole time. We don't have vices, dude. There is no workbench.
You're right. Look, it really caught, and I was living in fear of my life here.
I was living in fear for you.
30 years of experience using these, and yet ain't fucked myself up once.
Yeah, well, these can't even slip. They just don't.
Proper technique wins every time. It's just that's the way it is. Proper technique wins every time.
You can use your
impact driver. You can use your impact driver.
and you're drilling them high speed, man.
I'm
There's no.
literally holding it with just 2 fingers, just like you were, but I didn't have my whole hand on it. I held it with 2 fingers because you said if a drill catches, that it's going to spin out of control and you're going to fuck yourself up.
It
Yet
does,
I
but now
did
you
it
got
with
to do the
2
whole
fingers
saw,
and
and you
it
got to
didn't
do the
spill.
step it.
Okay.
That can't be done without an impact, man. It can't. There's no way
Right.
of doing it. It just can't be done with confidence. There's no. There is no.
Oh, you guys know I'm looking for a step bit. I hope I didn't put it over there. You know I'm looking for a step bit right now, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't do it with the drill though, man. Then
You
you got to do it with
wouldn't.
the whole saw. It's
They
just too
watched me do it
easy.
with a hole saw. They watched me do it with a
It's
hole
so
saw.
safe.
I didn't have any trouble. Any of this stuff that you're saying. I didn't have any of the trouble.
This has become an unproductive live stream. Right on. I did a 1/2 inch hole saw while you're looking for a step bit.
That's fantastic.
It's just another method of doing it, man, and it works fairly safely. Hammer all and self tappers go a long way too. I gotta buy another center punch.
Yeah, I go ahead and find mine. That's why the bit was wandering.
I went to Woodcraft and bought one with a spring, which is kind of cool. Instead of the one that you got to push.
Yeah.
You pull it back and it pops in there, but it's gone.
Yeah. But what you were saying about that only happens if you're not using proper technique. If you're using proper technique, the drill is completely safe. You don't have to worry about anything. But it's
I'm
all
just telling
proper
you from personal
technique.
experience. The first time that I tried to drill one of these out with a hole saw, which usually you don't ever do, but I was in a situation where I had to drill a hole out, and I was actually using this one here, the Gen, what is it, the Gen 3 by now? I was using the Gen 2 one of these. And dude, it almost destroyed me because I didn't realize how much torque potential energy was behind a drill when it gets in a bind. And I ended up in the handle part of the material cart, especially the Harbor Freight ones, there's a lot of flat spots where you can run self tappers down through. I ended up putting like 4 or 5 self tappers into my material cart just to drill it out.
That's a shame.
Yeah. But yeah, for the most part, like I said before, if you're doing like a whole bunch and you got like a whole layout you're doing, and you're doing like a bunch of gutters where you got like 30 pipes coming in one and down the bottom two, a drill for sure, but not in speed 2.
As well,
not in speed 1. Not in speed 1.
I was gonna say because
not in speed 1. Speed 1 will jack you up.
That's why they have variable triggers on them.
Yeah. Yeah, if you use a drill that's too weak and it's unable to do the amount of torque that you need in speed 2, and you switch it to speed 1, man, it's going to be a bad day.
Sure.
I was drilling through a angle iron for a grounding lug for a transformer.
Yeah.
And I think this was back when brushes were still in drills. Yeah, there was no brush that didn't exist yet. And I kept getting stuck in the steel, and I had to put it to speed 1. And it almost ripped me off the ladder, man. I was hanging on by 1 foot.
Well, no. I've never really had these issues.
Yeah. I've run a Fat Boy Unibit through a stainless cabinet up there, and no one batted an eye.
I know. Yeah. I actually think that I left my step bit on my drill press from the other day when I was using
and a whole can original. Yeah, we were doing I think it was a Niagara Waters. Do you guys have Niagara Waters?
No.
Might be local. We're doing Niagara Waters, and we're doing a whole bunch of stainless steel tray. And
I think
freezing
that's a
an
great
18-year-old
idea.
going to welding right out of school, man, I think that's a great idea.
Great idea.
Just know that the most abusive environments. Just
So
know you're almost never going to be comfortable. You're going to have a huge sense of accomplishment. You're always going to have work. You're going to have a secure job. You're going to make a bunch of money. But you got to have thick skin. Yeah, that's what you want to go in life to do it. Yeah, exactly. You are going to be in a different environment than what is perceived as what's a suitable environment for today's workforce.
yeah, it's definitely not for the soft.
IBEW offers well, and that's awesome.
That is awesome. But the thing is for every 5 guys that leave the trades right now, there are only 2 folks stepping in to replace them. Chances are that those 2 folks don't have the knowledge of the 5.
Man,
so
I've probably given away, I don't even know how many thousands of dollars to people, friends that wanted to get into the trade, people that I met that I was trying to get more involved in the trades. And I've only ever had 2 that have actually gone through and actually stuck with it.
Yeah, it's tough. First of all, it's not the mental part of it that's the hard part. It's the physical. If you're not used to doing the physical stuff, then you're going to get in there and you're going to be dog tired and you're not going to get recovered from that until like Friday. And then about, I don't know, 3 months to 6 months in, Sunday, you're going to start feeling it. You're going to already be tired to start the freaking week. And that's when a lot of dudes, they just can't take it. It gets tough.
Right. Are you hearing kids in the background or no?
No.
Nice. So the verdict on this mic was that it doesn't work until we go live, which is interesting. Very
I
interesting.
did hear a loud noise there, but I don't know if it was a kid or not.
There's only one licensed electrician that welds on buses and bus bars in my state.
Good for you, who for it.
That is awesome.
Timu mic.
Your Timu mic. Is this a Timu mic? I think it's an Amazon mic.
No, it's Amazon.
Yeah. Did you use your coupons? Heck yeah, I use my coupons. What for Timu?
You better.
I don't do Timu.
You better.
No.
Taking notes. Good for you. The other thing that when you you're going to notice when you first get into the trades is they're going to ask you to do a lot of kind of repetitive, boring work. Stuff that doesn't require a lot of brain power, and all they're really doing is making sure that you're going to last doing those menial things before they trust you with something bigger. It may take a month or 2 months before they have you do anything but clean up and fetch things. Just deal with it, power through it, understand that is part of the process, and you'll be just fine.
Yeah, that was actually part of when you said it's not mental, that can be a mental part of it. That's one reason why my best friend's brother-in-law didn't make it.
Sweeping, digging, yeah, all that stuff.
He felt like he was above sweeping and picking up.
Yeah. Oh, and don't come in there thinking you know stuff. Even if you just got out of school, like if you went to a trade school and you just got out and you think you know what you're doing, you don't.
Driving ground rods with a flat head.
That'd be funny. And you're gonna get picked on. It's all good fun.
I think I'm going to drive a ground rod here live pretty soon, just to show you guys how easy it is. The bucket of steam and a cock stretcher.
Welding or auto body? Welding's probably going to be a more prosperous future.
Yeah. You have to learn what stuff is too. Yeah, you got to learn all the 4 square, 411, all the pieces of material and stuff. So, but yeah, just like he mentioned, just like I mentioned before we even started using the impact, the drill is the weapon of choice, especially if you're going to do a bunch. But if you're in a situation where you need to cut something that's loose,
yeah, that I agree with.
Very, very safe with an impact and quick. And how many times you're going to be cutting something loose? Your $20 bit that you're worried about burning up will pay for itself when you're able to do that task that much quicker, because there is no vise. There is no there's nothing like that. You might have a stud wall you can screw a couple of screws to with this. But yeah, there is no vise. There's nothing like that. It's just you and a freaking loose thing and a hole saw, and hopefully you are smart enough not to hurt yourself.
And I will say this, as far as the punches go, or the whatever you want to call them, the knockouts, the punches, whatever the hell you want to call them. Get the Bosch ones, but the Bosch ones are freaking sweet.
Oh, the blue ones?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were like $3 like a year ago on Amazon. I bought a bunch, but I don't know where they are.
I've got a couple, and I have a whole set of them around here somewhere. I think there's about 4 or 5 of them.
Yeah.
And I think the last time I looked, they were like $80 for a set. It was ridiculous. I know, like Home Depot doesn't even carry, or they hadn't carried because Klein was the only one that had them, and for a long time they didn't have any.
What it's called in the classroom may be totally different in the real world. Yeah.
Yeah, we used to, the guys that just got out of trade school, we'd be like, forget everything they told you. Forget it. None of it's true. You're gonna be fine. Just listen to us.
Pretty much. There's a lot of stuff that you won't learn in school. You know, putting a vacuum on pipe, tying a bag to it.
Greenlee are great too.
Greenlee,
but
yeah, I've got.
You can't even buy them anymore. It's hard to buy any of the Greenlee stuff around anymore. Which is pretty much, Dan.
Greenlee stuff now. I don't think Lowe's carries it anymore.
No, they're not. They're done with Greenlee, unfortunately, because Greenlee actually did have some of the best stuff.
Yeah. Who was the other brand that started with
Show Up?
They started with those carbide bits first. It was Ideal.
Was it?
Ideal started making some of the best carbide
What's up,
bits.
Dave?
But they're so thick, man, that they last for a long time, and they cut good, and they cut really clean holes, like knockout quality holes. But they're twice as thick as well, this is really thin. Look at the difference.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why this takes a little bit longer. And why
I know.
If you grab a tooth in this, it'll spin this very quickly. Where this has got smaller teeth, thinner metal, you can spin it faster to get it out of the bind. But once you got a whole tooth or something dug into whatever you're cutting, you're along for the ride.
I agree with you, Paul. Milwaukee step bits are trash. Actually, I don't like any of the Milwaukee bits.
There really wasn't many step bits that I found. This one here that I had to begin with before I flipped the table.
There's only one electrician here.
This one. This Irwin. These are fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
These are good. And then if you want to step up in your knockout sets, they start with a 1/4-inch slug, and then you can step up to the 1/2-inch hole.
I made the mistake of trying to use a 2-inch hole saw.
Honestly, man, I got by with the Harbor Freight Unibits. Tear them up.
Yeah, I like the Bosch because they were readily available. I didn't use them a whole lot,
when you're
though.
buying your own, especially before you become a journeyman,
Yeah.
Harbor Freight, man.
Project. Okay, Tyler. Great. Thanks for
Nice.
sharing.
I really like the Linux Unibits for years, but now they're using Diablo, and they're great. I still prefer the Linux Unibits, or not Unibits. Did you say Unibits? You did.
Yeah.
I prefer the Linux hole saws. The Linux hole saws have the black tip, if you can still find them, right here.
Yeah.
And man, you're talking 75 cuts like this in stainless steel. It got to where I was making my bits last so long, I have to just start grabbing some from the Connex just because everyone else was using them so fast. So I was like, hey man, save me some, because I was going like 75 cuts to 50 cuts easily, 50 minimum. And they were doing like 10 cuts and then getting a new hole saw.
That sounds like user error to me.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Give it a shot. Who farted?
I was going to get a quote question, but I don't want to bore. Now, what you got? Chances are I might not even have needed the book. That'd be cool.
Is a journey? Well, no, because you can be an apprentice and go out on your own. For what? Unless you're talking about starting a business, and then you do have to be at a certain level.
Journeyman would be where you're making enough money to justify spending a little bit more on tools, is what I was more or less getting at.
No, it was a question in here. He wanted to know if journeyman was a level that you can go out on your own, and no, not really. Depends on your trade. If you're if you're an apprentice, an apprentice plumber, you could realistically just work for somebody for 2 or 3 years and then go out on your own if you really wanted to, but you'll never move up. And if you're in a union, well, you're kind of screwed.
Let's say 80,000 or 8,000.
8,000.
80. He's got 4 zeros there. 80. Yeah, you need 8,000 hours. You can
No worries, man.
you can be totally unqualified and go get your own, but you won't get far. Yeah, journeyman.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, if you're not qualified to do shit, just call yourself a handyman.
Yeah.
Or a deck builder.
A professional.
I kid on the last one, but only half kid.
Okay, here comes the question. 8,000. There you go.
Way to go,
a
Kansas.
Journeyman in Texas, you actually don't even need a journeyman on the job, so long as your master is checking up at least once that day. But a lot of inspectors here will. Okay, someone deletes them. A lot of inspectors, if they don't see a master or they don't see a journeyman on the job and they just have an apprentice there, they'll try to shut down the whole job.
Roofer. Yeah, a roofer. That's another one. You don't have to be qualified for shit.
I didn't mean to do that. I apologize.
You did.
Let me see.
He's the one that deleted the comment from Dan, and I missed it.
You spelled electrician wrong. I looked at it, dude. I'm pretty sure. I thought I might have spelled electrician wrong. E-L-E-C-T-R-I-C-I-A-N. Did I really spell it wrong?
Maybe. I don't know. I didn't look.
E-L-E-C-T-R-I-C-I-A-N. I looked at it twice. That's gonna bug me.
Yes, Rodney, he is.
The Fed 2 wet niche fixture shall be installed, question mark. Is it rigid brass? 680, I think. Doesn't have to be rigid brass. It can be rigid brass if you don't want to pull a number 8 ground in there. Or you can do PVC if it's a listed low voltage assembly where the light and the transformer and everything all together But if it's a style of niche that you can install any type of light, think of it like this. You go to a restaurant and they got a chandelier. That chandelier has LEDs installed in it today, and they're only 5 watts each.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do rigid as well. They're only 5 watts each. Can't be EMT. You need to wire that chandelier and give it enough amperage to where if you plugged in 30 bulbs that were 60 watts each, the chandelier could take it, because you never know what someone's going to screw into that chandelier. Same thing applies with light fixtures and pools. If you can put an incandescent in there, you have to run a number 8 separate ground with the SO cord that comes with the light. You can do rigid, you can do PVC, you can do red brass, you can do IMC. Can't do EMT. EMT is not listed for donate, and you get
a cookie.
$1 MDP 133. Yeah, 680 is the pool code. I can find it. 680.
And
so
just so we're clear on this, I doubt Kansas can make a bean bowl of cereal. I've met the kid. The bowl of cereal's about bigger than he is. Thanks, Juan. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. It depends on how your wife's feeling, because sometimes dessert's the most important meal of the day. By the way, has anyone else instituted Tata Tuesday at their house, or is it still just me?
It's 680.
What if the homeowner paid from the flea market? Can you put in? Excuse me. Can you put it in PVC? Yeah.
Okay, so
come for the shirts, jokes, and his t-shirt. Well, thank you.
Construction.
Wait till you see the next t-shirt. That's all I'm gonna say. I got a humdinger for Sunday.
You got a humdinger?
I got a great t-shirt for Sunday.
Very nice.
I'm not married, no Tata. Well, Juan, you're gonna have to show your own. Owen told this guy here. It's always Tata Tuesday. Yeah, I gotta ask you guys: do you prefer Tata Tuesday or Taco Tuesday?
So that's the niches, fall mountain luminaires.
Oh no, I don't want to scare anybody. I don't want to put his face on a shirt. I can't find my code book. He's got his in his hand.
Yeah, I got his luminaires here. So he wants to know what material you can run to it.
Yep. But
wire
Tuesday
extending directly to the forming shell. So here, conduit shall be installed from the forming shell
must be a Makita guy.
to a junction box or other enclosure conforming with the requirements. So conduit shall be rigid metal, intermediate metal, liquid, flexible, non-metallic, or rigid non-metallic.
Oh, you absolutely can.
Metal conduit shall be listed and identified as red brass or stainless steel. Non-metallic conduit. Where non-metallic conduit is used, the number 8 insulated, solid, or stranded copper bonding jumper shall be installed in the conduit unless a listed low voltage lighting system not requiring the grounding is used. Sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Oh, right. The code reference. 68023B.
Does a shed need a sub panel?
A shed does not need a sub panel unless you got more than 3 circuits. You have more than 3 circuits, you're required to pull a sub panel. You can't run more than 3 circuits out of your house to somewhere else.
By the way, when we say Taco Tuesday, we mean the food, not the. Because if you're doing Tata Tuesday right, you're getting Taco Tuesday. I'm just saying. Good way to go, Who farted?
I would have to see where I'm going to find that. These branch circuits. It'd be outdoor branch circuits. So it'd be 220. This
Can
is your
a sub
favorite
panel be a 30 amp? Can a sub panel be 30 amp? That's the question from John Xterra.
Yes, sub panels can be 30 amps. Actually, when somebody needs arc fault protection and they've got an older panel that doesn't accept the arc faults, I always tell them to just run a 30 amp or 50 amp, whatever minimum circuit they need, so they can run the branch circuits that they just ran that would require arc fault to the new panel, and then feed it with the old one.
It's like because a phone nowadays, line or old ground.
If you want to install a new panel,
yeah,
it's a minimum of probably $1,500 your cost. Not even the electrician. Like if you were to do it yourself, it's going to cost you $1,500 just to install that panel.
You know how much an extension cord runs?
You got a surge.
Yeah.
Meter's $200 minimum if you can find one. Panels $300 with the breakers. You got 2 ground rods. You got probably 50 feet of number 4 wire. You got about 15 feet of 2-aught wire.
Yeah.
And then you got to have a weatherhead, a mast, a service riser, a roof jack, all the little nipples and lock rings. By the time you have all those little stuff, that's like $100 just in lock rings, Myers hubs, bonding bushings. Nothing's affordable anymore.
That sounds awful. I just run extension cords. Sub panel lowest amp for more than 2 circuits.
I think, yeah, that's what I'm looking for. I think it's more than 2. So 3 would be the limit. I don't think it's more than 3. I think 2 is the max. If you're running 3, you got to have it. I'm looking for the code right now.
Sweet. I'm not. I have one more quote question. I'm going to make a lot of money. It was something helper.
No, thank you, sir.
Electrical helper or electrician helper.
Yeah, I would have to.
I have a utility sink outside of my bathroom that has a GSCI on it, but my bathroom does not have one. All right, hold on, Kansas. Does that count for bathroom? No, it does not. I can tell you, no, it does not. He said he has a sink outside of the bathroom that has GFCI on it, but the bathroom itself does not have GFCI. If it's within, 6 feet? But it has to be within the same room.
Should be within the same room. Also required within 3 feet of the sink.
Okay, there you go.
Must have a receptacle within 3 feet of the sink in the bathroom. GFCI breaker the whole bath. Yeah, I'm just waiting until they make you put freaking AFCIs in the bathroom. It's coming.
Nice.
Looking forward to it. Conspiracy theory is that because they stopped requiring you to have a receptacle for your kitchen islands, because you used to have receptacles, and then they changed the code and they said every so many square feet of countertop you have to have additional receptacles. So at one point we needed 1. Then we needed 2 if you had a sink that broke up the counter space and turned into 2 countertops.
Yeah.
Then you needed possibly 4 if you had a big enough island, which I see quite a few, I don't know, every 10 houses you might have islands 4 foot by 6 foot wide. And that's going to require more plugs. Now they went the opposite direction. They're like, we don't want any receptacles. People are pulling things off the countertops and it's dropping on people's heads. I think they're trying to make the pendulum swing so far this way that they can implement a requirement for pop-up receptacles so they can sell more crap.
We'll let you know, Rodney. So we got another question from Electrical Helper Job Wanted. What size amp for that sub panel for the shed? Depends on how much you're carrying into the shed, right? It could be 30, it could be 50, it could be 100. Yeah, we don't know. Depends on how much you're carrying in there.
You can use the 83% rule. So because you're in a residence, we can do 83% of the wire. Let me think about that. You do 2-aught, which is good for 180. You multiply it by. What are you doing 83%? Is the breaker or the wire? It's going to be the breaker. Yes, 83% of the breaker. and then the wire. Yes, that's what it is. It's the breaker. You can go 83% of the breaker. So if you wanted a 50 amp sub panel, you could do 83% of 50 amps, and whatever wire in the 75-degree C column that's good for, you can use it.
We said the lowest and the minimum amp. So minimum amp, as far as a sub panel, the smallest I've ever seen is, I know back in the 80s we had a 20, but that's not sold anymore, I don't think. So 30 is probably the lowest.
Do a 20 amp sub panel, but there'd be no point. I would at least do it there.
Yeah, 30.
I would do a 30 on number 10 minimum. And if you're going more than 70 feet, I would probably try to upsize my wire.
Hey, if we do impact versus drill, we're going to do a whole series of tests again. It worked out so well for him the last time we did impact versus drill. What was that night? It was like 32 to 4. Yeah, it was like 32 to 4 when we did the whole set of tests and whatnot. It was It was pretty one-sided.
Yeah, the drill's gonna win all the time. But the thing is, man, the impact it's just a little bit safer if you're in a weird situation. Which most of the time,
sub panel is not a minimum of 60 amps. The sub panel is a minimum of 30. That's the lowest you can go. So
yeah, I don't know. If I saw a 20, I'd probably call somebody. I'd call another coworker and be like, "I can do a 20, right? I don't see why you couldn't."
Yeah, you can do them. It's just it used to be a thing in like the 80s, the 70s and the 80s. Houses built in that area when they added on, like, I don't know, like a little shed or some damn stupid thing. They used to do a 20 amp sub, but they don't. I haven't seen one in forever. Even my house from the 40s doesn't have one.
So check this out. I'm trying to find this for backfeeding.
400?
700.5. It might be in
60s, yeah.
406.
How far are you in Canada?
400, something there, but 705 is interconnected electrical power.
Yeah.
And it talks about having that backfeed breaker because.
Whoa. Stop. Something happened to your audio.
What?
I don't know. It's not using the mic anymore.
Why not?
Can you guys hear the difference in the way he sounds?
I don't know.
Let's get in. We're going to poll the audience because right now you sound like you're having sex with Minnie Mouse inside of a tin can.
Why? I don't like that.
I don't know.
Okay.
Minnie Mouse doesn't like it either. Look who she's with. Back when they had Federal Pacific panels too. Yeah.
Is that better?
No.
Well, then we're out of here. You guys have a good night. YouTube is only going to work for so long.
All right. Sorry, buddy. I'm just saying. Yeah, it sounds horrible. So I just want to say something. Did you guys notice I'm wearing my headset tonight? And could you hear me just fine even when I was not on camera?
Yeah, we can hear you pretty good.
Okay, even when I wasn't on camera, when I was like over, oh, you're in Michigan. When I was, okay. So I've tried my mic just like his. I've tried other mics, and they don't work when I am not the host. But right. This does, because this has the earpiece.
It has nothing to do with the battery, guys. Look, this thing is unplugged. It has nothing to do with the battery. It has to do with YouTube hating both of my phones.
Actually, now that it's unplugged, it's just like absolutely atrocious. Like, damn. Really? Plug it back in. See what happens. The mic, first of all, why did you turn the mic off? You don't ever need to turn the mic off or the receiver off.
I wanted to unplug it to see if I started using the right mic. Is that better?
You have to. Yes, that works.
I lost my speakerphone now, so now I can barely hear you.
Well, I don't know what to tell you.
Is there an echo?
Oh, yes.
There is.
Yes.
See?
He can't
That's
have
all
it
we
all,
get.
folks. I'm just saying that I figured it out. Old Alzheimer's,
I can hear you with no
technically
echo. I doubt it.
challenged man was like, hey, I think that it won't use my mic because I don't have an earpiece hooked up when I am not the host. When I am the host, I can just use my regular mic and it's great. But
So
this is why I'm here, folks.
ah,
I'm here to outthink
okay.
young people.
With the whiteboard.
It actually sounds really good right now.
This is your panel.
Paul W is clapping.
If that's your panel.
Well,
typical main will be here. And
yes.
it's kind of bolted to the bus bar, right?
Yes.
When you do
a
lot
what?
of times you just install down here, you'll install a 30 amp breaker. And then you'll just run your wires to it. And then this will be your main switch here. And then your branch breakers will do whatever,
Yeah.
Keep in mind that you have to retain that breaker into that panel because those wires are always going to be hot. They're always going to be hot. That feeds this breaker into this panel. So if you have the ability to pull this breaker off and hold it in your hand, and it's still hot, that's a huge problem. One, it's a safety risk because, you got the whole breaker in your hand, so it's energized. That's kind of bad. But two, when you go to try to put it back on and you got a load, it's going to arc and spark, do damage to the bus.
Yes.
So make sure you got a lot of places will have like a retention screw or a retention clip or something like that, where it's like a little L bracket that holds it in there. The breakers have holes in the middle of them where you can screw a screw that goes all the way through the breaker and out the other side.
Yep. What's the code for main breaker versus main lug?
Main lug has no overcurrent protection in that panel. It's just lugs. There is no breaker. So if you feed a sub panel with a breaker and you land it on lugs, you don't have a way to disconnect the panel at the panel. You have to turn it off in the breaker that feeds it.
Acknowledge me, buds. No, we actually had a question here for you. They wanted to know the code main lug versus main breaker.
Are you echoing first off? Can I hit the button?
Boo! No, I'm good.
Oh, interesting. Okay, I still lost my speakerphone.
I don't know what to tell you. Main lug versus main breaker. What's the code?
Well, that is the code pretty much. If you don't have a main breaker panel, you need to have a lock-off device to where you can safely work on that panel. And there's some kind of pass that'll go over that main breaker that feeds that sub panel. That way you have a means to lock it off.
My baby girl's barking. Just remember, all wands were Makita.
You don't have to have a main breaker as long as you're feeding it with protection.
Hold on. I got to answer a call right now.
It's a bunch of different codes and reasons why you do it that way. It doesn't really have 200 would be branch circuits, or 200 would be 210 would be branch. What is 200? 200 is conductors, I think. What is 200?
Get in here.
Branch circuits. Yeah, what would be branch circuits? It would be might be feeders. We only have feeders.
Yeah, you better watch the Peters. I know you normally have Peters on your mind, but you better watch them.
Yeah, so feeders relevant ampacity, not less than the larger So where feeder supplies continuous low, blah, blah, blah.
You didn't get a car from me.
The minimum feeder conductor size shall have an amp passing not less than the maximum load to be served. So if you got a 20 amp load.
Hey, how many of you guys want to see the power tool equivalent of Juan Pratt? Or learning with Juan here?
Yeah, let's see it.
The white 4 would be nice. I've got a Fusion, or I've got a Escape, an Explorer, a Taurus. That's the white one. That's the only 3 I can remember. Do you want to see the tool equivalent of Juan?
Yeah, let's see it.
All right, just remember, this used to be good. Now it's not so good. It's the perfect representation.
Did you buy that?
Dude, yeah. Doesn't everybody have 52 different battery platforms?
When did you buy that? 110.14. That is workmanship, I think. Or is that torque?
And look.
Workmanship or torque?
Look at this. It's very steady.
Oh, electrical connections. Okay.
I'm getting out of a Taurus now. Hey, beat up. Somebody said found on road dead. That means you drove it till the wheels fell off. Chevy's found in your driveway dead. Oh, Southpaw. Ain't the first time you've watched 2 dudes play with a tool. By the way, Southpaw had the best picture of the eclipse the other day. And I just want to give him full credit. I shared it on my Facebook group. Looked great.
Nice.
Yeah. And Coochie still won't admit that he's wrong about the drill. So
I'm not wrong about the drill. It's different scenarios. Like I said before, the drill is going to be superior if you're doing a whole bunch of holes, but you can't stand on a ladder and not get off the ladder and safely use a drill on a 4-square cover. Because your ladder is your only workbench that you have in the field.
Yeah.
And the top of your ladder is the biggest work platform that you have in the field. So most of the time you're standing on the freaking ladder doing stuff anyway.
By the way, the blade, also the perfect representation of Juan. It's a warrior blade from Harbor Freight. You're scared?
It's true.
You flicked up and saw some beauty pageant? Are there some good-looking girls at least? Damn.
All right, we got to get. It's evident that YouTube hates me anyway because mic issues for no reason.
Juan, even you wouldn't use this.
Dude, that's kind of cool. It's so tiny.
This is well. I just gotta say this. For most people, this does not look that small. But it is not huge by any stretch. But
it looks like it weighs like 2 pounds.
It probably weighs a little bit more, but not by much. High back. This saw sucks. I actually bought this for my son a long time ago, and he would refuse to use it as a plumber.
Do a short, cut a 2x4.
With that, I don't want people to see me with it. It's embarrassing enough.
I still think it's earbuds. Right on.
I think he has somehow separated in the app his microphone and his hearing device.
So the way I fixed it, I made YouTube ask me every time I open a short or a video or anything permission. because I had it all loud and it seemed like it just wasn't working. So I made it ask me to prompt it, and that's what made it start working. But before we even started this live, like before we actually went live, we were in the back chatting, and he was like, "Your mic doesn't work." I was like, well, "Maybe it'll work once we go live." So it's very interesting.
If I could describe tactics in one tool, does it have to be battery operated? I don't know if my wife has a dildo.
A shovel.
Hold on. I have the perfect tool to describe tactics in mind. I just have to find it. I've got the perfect tool.
Here.
Who's here?
What's my favorite places for material? Like supply houses?
Green Tech? Man, Green Tech was always my favorite. That's why they always gave me free shit.
I hope it's more than 12 volt. Don't do them like that.
Hold on. I'm trying to find the perfect tool to describe you.
For the most part, until you start doing underground.
Well, I might have to call an audible and change it to the second best tool to describe tactics. If I could only pick one. Damn it. All right. Well, I got to show you kind of what I had in mind for the first one, but it wasn't battery operated. But I can't seem to locate those right now. I'm cleaning my garage up, so everything is in transition. So the first one I had in mind was a caulk gun.
Yeah,
because a lot of shit comes out and very little of it useful. Sorry, I had to. And now the second one is something that we all should have in our shop, but not everybody has. It's a blower. But it's just a little
4-inch wide mouth one, aren't you?
It's a little job site blower, and notice how it's kind of the black end here.
This emoji. I put them together.
I can do me if I were a tool. What would be the perfect tool to describe me? That's so easy.
We got a hoe laying around?
I'm talking to one right now.
He's self-projecting.
But if you guys didn't know, this is the perfect tool to describe me, the Rigid Megamax.
Hog?
No, it's first of all, right angle drill, not the whole hog. That's a Milwaukee thing. But this right angle drill, it's a rotary hammer. It is also a recip saw. So I'm kind of like the jack of all trades.
That's pretty cool. Can you still buy the pieces for that? You just can't buy the tool at all? You can't buy any of it?
Occasionally you can find the heads on Home Depot, but not often. But one tool to describe the bear, Jesus, that one's a little more difficult. If I had to pick one tool to describe the bear, Let me think about that one for a second. What would you think? What do you think?
That one's got me stumped right now.
Does it?
Yeah, a little bit.
Let me see here. I've got an idea for one, but
I have a great joke, but it makes fun of Alzheimer's, if it's okay.
Knock yourself out.
Just say it.
Don't worry, I'll forget about it. So I think you've only seen the Mega Max pieces, yeah. So I think I've got kind of the perfect tool. No, I gotta get a different one. I thought about this one. I've decided to go with a different one because I don't want to insult this one. Let me see here. The problem is I just threw a bunch of broken tools away. If that's what's telling you guys where my head is, I threw a bunch of broken tools away.
It's a tool. Any tool.
Okay. All right, I got it. So in case anybody is wondering, I had actually had a fence stapler. And the reason I had originally said that was because no one really needs it. So this is the tool that to me best describes the bear. It's dull, it's fat, it's got a flat head, it's old, and it's busted.
There you go.
I'm gonna have a. No, I'm just fat, dude.
Laugh at me, Daddy.
Harbor Freight. No, he's definitely not a power tool. It's too bad because a dildo would have been the perfect one.
All right.
He could have been a fan. Mayhem now. If it's some lotion. Wait, Douglas. Who is the bear? You don't want to know. You're better off.
We gotta get. I gotta get.
Who farted? We're gonna call you Deep Throat.
Ever seen Bauer when saw it set on fire? That's crazy. Yeah.
No, I haven't.
Yeah, anyone that's recommended Bauer over much, obviously, just pick any tool. It's a tool. They're a tool. All right.
Yes, Dan.
Right here. Appreciate the support. Seems like we might have got the mic working. Who knows?
Working right now. You're gonna find out it works better down lower on your chest too.
Nice. All right. See you guys later. Appreciate the support.
Yep. For all you Makita guys out there, blow them like you know them.
See you later, guys.